So you back. You came back. You know, I didn't mean to yell and all that to my audience, but my audience needs to be a little more reactive or responsive to what I'm saying. You know, if you listen to what I'm saying and you don't react to what I'm saying, it's like I'm talking to the wall that's currently on the screen. I'm going to use my Germex. When I use Germex, now I'm going to make my comment. And I can't be asking the public for anything. I'm working. I'm doing real work. I'm making sure that the audience has access to the information I generate in a way that I'm not asking for anything. It's a fair exchange. But when you don't subscribe and or like and just don't have a presence in the audience, it changes the infrastructure. It's like it's like you draining my content. You draining my content and going to sell it somewhere else. I won't tolerate that. You draining my content and going to another channel and doing a broadcast on your own channel. You're not being realistic in this situation. So that's one subject. Now, the process of vaccines not implementing the stimulus check process is crazy out of this world. Crazy out of this world. You can't imagine Congress not accepting this policy as formal. Vaccine distribution and stimulus check simultaneously. You have food, you have shelter, you have transportation, you have clothing. You can't make everything 100%. Stimulus checks don't make everything 100%. Stimulus checks just make things a little bit more comforting. Why not be comforted while you're getting vaccinated with some questionable vaccine where anything can happen with the new strain, the new Delta strain, the heart problem situation, the blood clots? Why not implement the stimulus check process to comfort America? You're not comforting America. You're leaving them out without housing, without food, without transportation, without clothing. You're just leaving America behind. Talking about the American Rescue Plan. How is that the American Rescue Plan? You're not rescuing America. You're giving them a vaccine, and the vaccine can be based on who you are. Then you're saying you're rescuing them? That's not fair to America. America needs to be rescued if you're going to rescue them. If you're going to say you're rescuing America, rescue America. At least don't separate the monetary portion of being vaccinated while the situation, COVID-19's presence, is zapping out people's finances. You saying, I'm going to help you with COVID-19, but I'm not going to give you your money until 2 months later. That's crazy. 2 months, 2 months, it might be 3 months before you get an actual stimulus check, while you could be vaccinated for 2 to 3 months. Not knowing if you're going to have housing, food, transportation, clothes. You don't know what you're going to have. At least a stimulus check gives you some type of option to be in a better place, no less of a place than the stimulus check. You be consistent with the federal government supporting you, not being hungry, not going hungry, not being without. You just wouldn't be left completely without being supported. And we didn't ask for the COVID-19. COVID-19 was brought here, and nobody knows exactly how or when or anything. They just know that COVID-19 hit, and And now there's a vaccine, but there's challenges along with the vaccine and the process that it has attached to the vaccine. That's another subject. I'm going to get into the process in a minute. But the issuing of the stimulus check and the issuing of the vaccine needs to be conformed to my introduction to a better way. I don't need a doctorate degree. Stop acting like I need to be some type of COVID-19 professional. 700,000 bodies are approaching. Don't tell me nothing about no medical profession when if you crash your car, I'm not a paramedic. But if I show up at the scene saying, all right, get out of the car before the car explodes and drag you out of the car, I'm not a paramedic, but I got you out of the car. I'm not an emergency professional. I got you out of the car before the car blew up. 700,000 bodies. Get those people out of there. Let those people live. Get them out of there. It's an emergency. In an emergency situation, you have to bypass. Look, I saw a situation where somebody was selling real estate. And they said, well, I'm not an agent. I can't sell real estate. I said, the people that live there are dead. Why can't you sell real estate? The people that own the properties are dying rapidly. Sell the real estate. Raise consciousness to a level of social distancing, hand washing, and mask wearing every time you sell real estate and complement the challenges of people dying and the real estate just being left abandoned and America being in jeopardy. It makes perfect sense. It's supply and demand without the specifics or the particulars of the usual way of doing things. The usual way of doing things don't apply when America's in grave danger of people dying. People are going to die. If you do it the usual way, you're not raising awareness of COVID-19 while people are dying. When they're selling real estate, when I implemented my safety standards in the real estate, it complemented the environment. And I'm going to tell you how I introduced my process to real estate. I made a safety video with social distancing, hand washing, and face mask wearing. And shortly afterwards, at the library closed down. The library closed down for COVID-19 reasons. When the library closed down, a neighboring location was doing construction they're still currently erecting a structure that's going to house nearly 1,000 people, possibly, maybe 1,000 people, maybe not 1,000, but I'm just saying roughly 1,000 people going to be occupied the project that they're erecting. There are no safety notices, no COVID-19 notices, I won't say I've seen them without masks. I won't say they ride in vehicles without having masks on in the same vehicles. So I won't say, what they're doing per se, but my point is, I went from being in the library, practicing safety with COVID-19 extremes. They shut down the library because of COVID-19. And then when I walked outside, they was erecting a property, a real estate property that's going to house close to maybe 1,000 people. What I did was I took a real estate for dummies book where the library still wasn't open to the public, but they still would let you take books out. They would let you book books. You have to use your library card and get books out of the library. They would still let you get books. So when they let you receive books out of the library, I would get real estate for dummies. Everybody have an opportunity to get whatever they want to get. I get real estate for dummies. I set up my tripod right where they're erecting the property. I say, listen, everybody, on my recording, this is a Real Estate for Dummies manual from the library. The library is closed down, and I'm showing up for safety protocol where I just made the video at the library, but it had no bearing on the library closing down. It's just that they closed down for emergency practices, emergency reasons. So on the video, I made a note that I just had the book for the library from the library. I had my receipt, and the process that it took to get the book from the library used the library card. It used the process of the video that I've made, that I prepared. And when I implemented my process into the process that was being erected, what it did was every nail that was being hammered had preventive measures attached digitally. Nobody was doing anything. Nobody helped that property be erected in any other way, form, or fashion consistent with safety protocol. No experience, no know-how within reason of being, some educated scholar talking about, what COVID-19's potential is. None of that. This just know-how and application. You know how to make a safety video. You know the protocol for practice safety, and you go straight outside and apply it to the situation outside where nobody's currently practicing. No signs saying COVID-19. This, practice social distance. No signs saying wear your mask. None of that. A regularly occupied space. People walking around, no mask, walking their dogs, petting other people. It was kind of crazy to see more property being erected. But the point that I'm making is, I had the safety video. I applied it to the situation, and the property is on its usual path because the information transferred digitally. When I transfer information digitally now, I use Germex. When I use Germex, I have a calendar for July. I have business cards. This says summer. This says summer right here. You can't see it. I'm in the process of changing my camera equipment so that you'll be able to see a little more, the finer things in the broadcast. So the point that I'm making is, I applied myself to that situation. I was never paid a dime. But the protocol at the time, nobody had safety measures in place. It was a wild nearby where you have to wear a mask and they have signs up and you have sanitizer and everything's readily available. That was a occupied place. But the property that was being erected was not occupied currently, and they still erecting it. And the digital information supported the safe production of the property. I was never awarded anything from my work, from my efforts. From my work, my efforts, I was never awarded anything. So then when I get to the distribution process, hold on, not to the distribution process just yet. When I get to the stimulus check process and the vaccine process being in the same place, I notice there's a problem. Along with the real estate situation, I've noticed there's a problem. They're saying I'm misrepresenting COVID-19 at YouTube. YouTube is giving me a lot of problems with these content strikes. They content struck my video funding. My funding video when I was addressing the security at the Capitol. They struck my content, gave me a warning. They striking my content, but in an emergency situation where you're not functioning, still not going towards the process yet, but on the stimulus check and the vaccine being distributed in the same place. That's the subject at hand. How can you not acknowledge my principles that I'm attempting to implement into the process of distribution repeatedly, my repeated attempts, like, who is that numb to what's going on that they're the speaker of the house and they just go to work and pretend that they're working? Who's that numb? It takes a lot of effort not to acknowledge something as opposed to acknowledging it and just dealing with what it is. It takes more energy to burn. You got to burn more energy to avoid a pothole than dodge the person. And then instead of just, doing something reasonable like catching a cab. Much more realistic. So the point that I'm making with that situation, the vaccine and stimulus check should be given at the same time, simultaneously. My business cards support that. It's one thing to transfer my business cards digitally. Here's my business card. See that? It says stimulus check. See the reverse side? Vaccine. Now, this business card is one business card. You see that? One business card. Now, what I'm saying right now goes as far as it can go, but this is my business card that I purchased from Staples. You don't have access to this business card until we come to some type of logical conclusion. You won't have access to this business card. You're not acknowledging my presence, and you don't have access to this business card or its principles. Any plan you come up with to redirect me and steal my business cards is not going to work. The law is going to cancel out any deterrent from redirecting me any further. I've been redirected so far that the information I'm practically screaming now. I'm screaming now, like, why aren't you acknowledging my presence? This information is as consistent as Staples that printed it. I'm no less consistent than Staples. When you walk down the aisle in Staples, you have to follow the arrow. They don't have arrows now. They took the arrows up. But the point that I'm making is when the pandemic struck and COVID-19 was present, they had arrows. You had to travel in a certain direction through the store. You couldn't just bump into people. Staples office supply store. It's a real experience to go through the extremes. And some people practice safety and some people don't. It's a real experience. So when you don't practice safety and you're going to leave all those people approaching 700,000 deaths with no stimulus check, with a vaccine that may work or may not work, and the uncertainty of taking the vaccine is as uncertain as not having this business card with the stimulus check and the vaccine on both on the reverse side. The reverse side is going to be the stimulus check to the vaccine and the vaccine to the stimulus check. Now, the distribution process, that's crazy. A gavel represents law. You're not going to hustle a gavel. A gavel is a gavel. That's a gavel. That's a gavel. It's going on 3:45 a.m. Correction, 3:45 p.m. And I have a level of resistance being applied currently. And, nothing's being done about it. I explained, a lot of this resistance in my broadcast. And I don't like the audience that I have. And, I'm working on it. Click on the link in the description. Donate. Feel free to donate. I'm not asking you for nothing. I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm working. Support my movement. I'm not asking you for nothing. You sitting here long enough to receive my information, long enough to go to your channel and broadcast what you broadcasting and make money. You can make money off what I'm saying. I'm not doing this per se to make money and go to the next channel and make more money. I'm not doing that. But you have the option to make money off my channel, and I'm just saying, click on the link in the description and donate. I'm not asking for anything. You receiving my information, and I'm saying show up in the same place as you receiving the information you receive. Before you go to the police and say I'm asking you for money. I prefer you leave my channel before you say I'm asking you for anything. Just leave my channel. Don't receive anything I'm saying. Right is right. Why would you be around me digesting what I'm saying, consuming my information, and then say I'm asking you for money in return? It makes more sense for you not to be here. I prefer you not to be here because my audience needs to know if I say click a link on the description, it's a process at the link in the description. That's my whole conversation right now. The subject of the conversation. It's a process. When you click on a link in the description, your subscription and your likes and all that is attached to your identity. I prefer you be 3:45 p.m. attached to your identity and instead of 3:45 p.m. and I don't know who you are, where you taking my information, what you doing here. I don't know nothing about you and none of that. But you here at 3:45. It's 3:45 p.m. right now. I'm gonna use my Germex at 3:45 because I'm not gonna sit here yelling at some make-believe subscriber either. I'm saying what I'm saying. They struck my content, and I felt like it shouldn't have been struck from YouTube. Funding is funding based on the urgency of funding, based on the protocol of funding, based on the safety practices and procedures still in their proper context. I'm not asking people for nothing. I'm not going outside of the framework of the protocol involved in the 700,000 deaths approaching. It's July now. Another subject. It's July. They're not going to be wearing masks on the 4th of July. They're not going to be wearing masks this holiday, this through the summer extremes. They're not going to be practicing safety, social distance. They're not going to be doing all that. They're just going to be partying. COVID-19 is going to spike. The hospital's going to get flooded, and people are going to die again. Just like they know what's going to happen. Just like they know what's going to happen. Why wouldn't you have a stimulus check in the same place as the vaccine so I can catch a cab instead of getting on the bus? Why don't you have a stimulus check in the same place the vaccine so that I have an opportunity to get away from who's going to not wear masks? I have an opportunity to say, well, I'm going to stay in the house and my stimulus check will be in no less of a place. People going to party and things like that. And the vaccine is in one place, the stimulus check in the other, and not practicing social distancing, not practicing hand washing, not practicing mask wearing, just out there, out in public. You can't tell me it's not real because the stimulus checks aren't distributed at the same time as the vaccine. It has to be real. And when you distributed the vaccine and the stimulus check at the same time, at least when they go out there, they got enough money to say, well, they don't have to be out there. They have options not to be out there. When you got people that are going out there and they going to be partying and not have no resources, they're not going to buy no masks with no money. They're not going to do nothing consistent with what you would have money for in the pandemic situation. I'm going to close with saying, have a safe July, happy holidays, and click on the link in the description. Visit my new YouTube channel, Dolla50 International. This is a local situation, but I'm prepared to go international with it. My process of Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and newly they're introduced to Food and Drug Administration, Novavax, FedEx, UPS, and United States Postal Service, OSHA, Center for Disease Control, and Luxor Hotel is a perfect platform to be in no less of a place for our reason for being here. The ability to be buoyant through these extremes, up to date with that level of information. I just closed with saying, visit the Dolla50 International by Dolla50. You click on, you type in YouTube, go to YouTube, type in Dolla50 International, and it's the first picture icon right there. As soon as you go to YouTube and type in Dolla50 International, you don't have no redirection to nothing. Go right there. Subscribe. Throw your likes. This is the audience I'm talking about. I have to stress the point. I have to yell and scream, and the audience don't even subscribe. Some invisible hoarders of information, and then go to their own channel and throw free live streams, and then make $1 million off my live stream information while I'm sitting here complaining that I got this fake audience.